Hello and welcome to this video. Today I'll be teaching you how to use your police MDT. To begin with, we'll be opening up your police MDT. You can usually do this with your K muscle. I do it with my J muscle as I've rebounded. We'll start off with this KLO4 section. KLO4 means keep a lookout for. So these are just simple reports which have active people who have escaped custody, usually, or have escaped a scene, or are wanted for questioning. You can right click, then you can view incident or their profiles. You then have the bulletin board. The bulletin board covers and usually has the report of the week on it. We then have active units, which is an X area for our dispatch. You can see all people of all emergency services who are currently in the city. As you can see myself here, who is currently off duty and with the New South Wales Police Force. You have their call sign in on the map, and then their name. We then have recent calls, which just display calls that have been of crimes that have been happening. This starts from all the way up to carjackings and then goes up to bank robberies and etc. Any crime that is committed will be put on here. The continue will go with profiles. In profiles, you'll have one main thing, which is this profiles button. You click that, it comes up with a search bar, you search up who you want, and then you click on them. Other than that, you can then type in here anything you want, usually just keep it for written warnings or weapon licenses. We then have a profile image URL that we need to put in for their mugshot. We then have their apartment, which is already in here, their profession, number, date of birth, and name and citizenry are all in here automatically. We also have their fingerprint, which I have to manually put in. We then over here, we have their licenses, which we can right click those licenses to either revoke or give their license. We then have a list of all their vehicles that they own, which are simply put down right here. If you right click on those, you can then search the vehicle and it will take you over to the vehicle search. Tags, which are usually just custom tags that no one really uses. We then have galleries for any photos, and then if they have convictions, you can click here and it'll show all active convictions on their record and any incidents that they are involved in. We'll then move over to incidents. This is the main thing you'll be using. You'll be able to look at any incidences from anyone further in. Whenever you make a new incident, you click this plus symbol right here. And to save it, you'll click the save button. First thing you always want to do when writing a report is change the name and the charge to what they are. Put the date and time in, the location of the crime, and then you want to put in a small sheet of the crime, as shown by example in these right here. This is a good example of a fact sheet. If you wish, you can pause the video later and take your time to search it. To continue with this, you also put in their offender's description, a vehicle of interest, and any items taken off the POI. You then want to put all the officers at the scene on through the officers involved. For example, I'll put myself in here. Then civilians involved, which is never used. And then we have criminals involved, which is the main thing you'll be using. Let's just put myself in there for the meantime. You then want to right click the process when they're processed, left click when they are processed and guilty. And if they got a KLO4 out you need to put on them, you'd also do that. We then have here where the charges are. You right click here, you right click modify charges. Say that this guy was speeding. So we'll give him a speeding charge, but let's say I accidentally gave him illegally parked and stopping. I don't realize, I take a look here, I realize I need to remove the charge. You go back to removing charges, and you right click the charge you want to remove. When there are charges on the system, it will come up with a recommended fine and recommended sentence. You are not to go over these fines or sentences. You can lower the fine or sentence by 50% at most without a permission from a sergeant or higher. If they are being nice, generally we will make sure they get a little less. We then go to intel reports. This is sometimes used but not often. This just has simple little details of incidents that don't really need reports. We then have the map. This just displays where crimes are and things that are happening in the city, not really used. As you can see here, you can see all the dispatch calls. Then we have bolos. Bolos are all vehicles that are currently wanted. As you see, the most recent one is by myself. Usually you want to put a description on why they have a bolo in and what their driver will be charged with or something like that. We then have the roster, which displays your general duties, all your stuff that you need. Here you can clearly see the roster of who is in the police force, what rank they are and how long they've been in. You can also see enlistments and training, as well as you can see the rosters for these divisions and promotion records, house responsibilities, and promotion requirements. You'll also easily get access to your SOPs here, through around here. On disregard, you clearly get your SOP here, which is the New South Wales legislation and laws. Anything highlighted in yellow are changes that are important. As for example, here you can see the vehicle impound changes. We'll then go to plate search. This is how you search up vehicle plates. You'll put a plate in there. For example, let's put in my own plate in there. You'll come up with a list of vehicles, you find it, and then you'll usually have a photo of the vehicle here, if it is known, the class, make and model, and then you also have a bunch of information on said vehicle. We then have weapon search. This is where you get weapon serial numbers. When you get a weapon serial number, you're able to put it in here. For example, let's just put 1. You can now see every single weapon that has either a class 1 or a 1 in its serial. You then want to take a look at that weapon, and then you have all the details on the weapon. It's how you find out if a pistol was fired that is registered. You then have cameras, which give you live activity to any of the banks or supermarkets in the city. Then we have staff logs, which are not really important and you will never be using. That concludes today's video on how to use your police MDT. Thank you for watching.